Okay, this is Shorkar Sanjit Advan, and today I'm with Faria Shoroni Bhasha, who's the sister of the late and martyr Rehan of BUET, who died in the Shapla massacre done by the Awami League regime and the Hasina regime on May 5, 2013. And today, this session is more about the personal lifestyle and the struggles and the conditions that followed uh, during the time of the massacre that happened, and the lifestyle and the viewpoints and his personal life of brother Rehan, and the struggles that his family had to put up with since the Awami regime and the Hasina regime. And till now, Faria Sharoni Bhasha is she's really trying hard to get justice and recognition for her brother. So, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, fine. What about you?
I'm good. I'm good. So before we get into the actual purpose and issue for doing this live session, tell me about you. What are you currently? What's your profession right now? What are you really doing right now?
Okay. From the beginning, if I say about me, that is, I studied in Holy Cross Girls High School and Holy Cross College. I After my brother's death, I passed from Holy Cross College in 2014, and the same year my dad expired, and then I got admitted in Oxford University. As it was against my wish because I always dreamt of studying in a public university. But yeah, I started in Oxford University. I started in computer science and engineering. So from yeah, I had to struggle about grading system like all of you guys, and then I completed my bachelor's. Then I before completing, I was already a researcher, and now I'm working as a research assistant in North University. And I have a publication score till now it's 14, and maybe it's 79 or 78 on the citation number. Okay, that's all about me.
Okay, so what it appears to me that you have been doing really good in the research spectrum, but uh, now coming to the issue of regarding starting with that, what kind of pressure did you actually feel? How did we actually come to this regarding your brother? Like with that saying, I want to actually start off. How was brother Rehan? Um, tell us something about him. How was he as a person? His habit as a human being. What kind of a person he was?
My brother and I have age. I have an age difference of 5 years, so he was 5 years older than me. Um, I learned from my mother that when I was born, my brother gifted me a little doll, and it was hard for him to not to sleep with my mom because I was a very little girl then. Yet my brother sacrificed it. Yeah, my brother did a lot of sacrifice for me. So and I was like, yeah, we were best friends. We were fighting with each other always, and we had totally different perspective, different ethical situation, and yeah, we did have ethical conflicts too. But at the end of the day, I will talk about my dad later. My dad was a very liberal person, who was always a very confident one, and he always believed in freedom of speech. So we never had to feel that pressure that two completely different identities can live under the same roof. So yeah, my brother was like that person also, and my brother was a very naive, I will say. He was very naive, and on that age, he had something very big. Big. What can I say? He was a very good person, and he never hurt anyone in his life. And even after his death, people say good about him, and I feel very proud of him. My brother studied in Government Laboratory High School, Dhaka. He always tried to study first or second. So from the very beginning of my education life, so it was a pressure for me to have a competition with my brother. And then my brother was very talented, and he was genuinely interested in studies, interested in innovations, interested in everything. He started Math Olympiad from a very young age, and he was before his death, he was a mentor of Math Olympiad, International Math Olympiad sessions. So yeah, he had kind of a good fan base, and he was a good debater. So it was kind of impossible for me to go through the logical debates with him because he was the person who would always win. And my brother was also the first boy of Dhaka City College, um, and then BUET. I still remember um, my brother wasn't studying at that time. I mean the admission time. So my mom was very tense, and he talked with Liton Bhai of Udbhash. And then Liton Bhai talked with my brother, and my brother said that I know I will get chance in BUET. So why do I need to study now? I know I will get chance. Then little Bhai just asked him that if you study, you will um, get a good position. You know, what will I do with the position? Because I know I'm gonna studying in computer science and engineering. So yeah, that was that type of confident in him. He knew that he was gonna make it. So he was a blessing for us, and he was a very truthful person, and he always stood what was right for the entire nation. He was always against the Indian hegemony, and he used to write about the post. Though after his death, maybe the Awami publics deleted his Facebook account, so we couldn't recover it. And he was a very patriotic person. He loved his country, and he loved Islam mostly, and that's the reason he uh, took part in Hefajat protest. I feel like he took part in Hefajat protest due to because Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam plus he he was always insulted by some of the blogger, and my brother participated in the protest because of this thing, and he protested about it. He wanted the blasphemy law to be happen. We have to. I feel like we have to respect each other's perspective, and he always respected my perspective also. He also respected my dad's perspective also. So yeah, I do also respect his perspective. And my brother was a very lonely person, I will say. And the last time we met, the 3rd May 2013, I asked him some questions about life, and I felt like there was a deep void in him, but he was truly loyal to Islam, loyal to Allah. So that void maybe didn't matter for him. That's a little thing about my brother. And my brother was never a person who would force me to do hijab or would force me to do things that he loves. He was a person that he would do counseling first, like from back to 2012. In our family, we were not that type of person who would go for like hijab or something like that. My brother used to tell us different stories of Islam, different ideologies, and that actually inspired my mom to go for hijab and go for other burqa and other things. And I tried hijab sometimes, and sometimes I can't go through it, or I can continue it because I have migraine and other issues. But I try to maintain hijab because I feel like he always loved it, and this would respect him a lot. That's just for keeping his respect as my memory. as his memory. Sorry, and this May is gonna be the 12th year of losing my only dear brother, again Rehan Ahsan. Still, after all these years, this pain seems as if I underwent it on that very dreadful day. My brother Rehan was not only my brother, he used to help me, support me, and he was the center of the house. His laughter warmed our home, his dreams provided inspiration to all of us, his principles make us into better people. His passing, in my eyes, wasn't the loss of a father figure or a friend or even a provider, although he was all of those things. It was the loss of the torch that shone through the darkness in my life. And it was not only a tragedy for us, I feel like it was an injustice with my family. Looking at his life, his courage, and the barbaric way he was killed and humiliation makes me feel grief and loss. Pride for a man who was so courageous and determined for his people, and makes me determined to fight for the justice for such a man. So yeah, that's Rehan's story. I feel like I want to call for justice, and this justice has yet to be served. I don't know how long it will take.
Thank you so much for putting your words into it. Um, and I'm extremely shocked, and I'm pretty sure anyone who's viewing this, I want to I actually, the main purpose of doing this live session is to keep a document in English. Actually, there have been a lot of debates and discourse and discussions and writings and movements regarding Brother Rehan. But unfortunately, what I have seen is there is no actually online documentary or any documents or files that could actually relate to his case and his testimonies and his witness, such as you, his sister, and your only brother. With that relation, I felt the importance of actually keeping such a session in English. So anyway, so with what I'm hearing from you actually is Brother Rehan was a extremely meritorious person, not in just academics, in engineering, in his sphere of studies, but also he was a very good.
If I add something more about my brother, like my brother was born on September 9, 1989, the day my mother refers to as the happiest day of her life. Right from the day when he was born, he brightened up everyone's day and spread happiness around him. He just appeared to be the second born of our family, as my elder sister died um, 6 months ago. So he was the hope for my mother. Someone asked to know Rehan more closely, and I could see that Rehan was curious, mischievous, and never-endingly kind. He was such a child. He was such a person, and such a child who would like to swap his most favorite toy with another one, although the latter did not have any toy at all. And he was a good learner. His life, and they really, I feel like it was maybe from our genetic thing that my dad was a very intelligent person. My mom also stood second maybe in the board exams. So yeah, he got that gene, and my grandfather was also a doctor. So that was a genetic thing for him, and he read so many books. I can say that I have read half of them till now. So, in a very short span of his time, he wrote many things. He wrote about politics. He he read about politics. He read about Islam. He read about communism. He read about every little thing. He read about even Humayun Ahmed also. He had a fondness for science, and most of the time he used to plan for creating a new invention in the field of technology. I remember my father would always utter just that Rehan would invent something one day and that would actually transform the world. But to have no idea that his dreams would be aborted before he could even begin. As a brother, he could have not been any better. He was protective, tolerant, and a good listener. He was the one. I turned to whoever I had something to say fully aware he would never fail to understand me. And from supporting me in my assignments, homework to motivate me because I felt like I was quite, it was quite tough for me. But when it was my brother, it was like my supporting system. So this is especially even now when in daily life when I actually hesitate in kind of decision making, I still ask myself, what would Bhaiya do? And sometimes I get answer, and sometimes I don't get because I know, yeah, it's quite tough for me sometimes. You will say it's been 12 years. Why he's still in my head? The trauma I got after my brother's death and the trauma I got after my father's death, it was so much and it had so much, uh, it was so much weighty for me that maybe it will go with my genetic code also. And he got everything from us. And I'm indebted to him because um, he made my life easier. He made my life tension free also. And he was my teacher. The overall basic I have till now, that's because of him. Thank you.
Thank you so much for letting us know of your take. But now coming to the main point from where all of this actually started, 5th May 2013. So everyone has their own says and takes and documents. So I want to know your story on it. What happened on 5th May 2013? Like, what was your experience as and your family's experience on that fateful night and the morning that followed? Also, with the incident of your brother afterwards. I want to know that, and I believe everyone wants to know that.
As I said earlier, we were two normal people getting up to proceed what we assumed was a typical day, which turned out to be a nightmare, and that changed the lives of several people in a world whose tastes looked alike. Uh, my bhaiya, my Rehan bhaiya would thousand, thousand other men, he went to Shapla with a hope filled in their heart. They thought that when united, they could shout and demand respect and justice from their fellow citizens of the world. No one could say anything about the fact that it was not violent. It was an act of resistance. Then came the horror. When it was dark, the state brought its force to bear on the protesters. Stinking smoke filled with air, bullets penetrated defenseless humans, and nobody knew what they were doing. The streets of Dhaka turned into a theater of liberal use of violence with people screaming and mercy. When morning came, death and destruction had followed everyone like a shadow. So back to the, it still brings me a lot of memory up until this very day. I shall remember, maybe I will remember always vividly this day. I came to know about brother getting shot on head at 10 p.m. on 5th May 2013. One of my brother's friend called my mother about it, and my mother hurried and just went there. We got an information like he's admitted in Islamic Bank Hospital. My mother went there and didn't find my brother. My brother was not there. She called out his name to the top of her voice, Rehan, as if her voice of one could wake him from death. But we couldn't find his dead body till then. My mom came back home at 2 a.m. and we waited till the darkness goes away. 6 May on 5:30 a.m. we started for searching Haya's dead body. I feel like I chose that I would search for Dhaka Medical College morgue. We identified Rehan's dead body in the Dhaka Medical College emergency morgue. My mother, my mother, my mother just lost all her senses, and it was so hard for me to see my elder brother lying on the stretcher, and it's like it, it doesn't move at all. It doesn't talk with me. It doesn't fight with me. It's just a dead body. So it was very hard for me. I I felt like maybe I lost senses that time. So I touched my brother's head, under the head, and I found there. I still find like I have blood in my this hand. So the bullet was like uh, crossing his lips, tooth, and then crossing his head. So he was kind of shot dead, and that was very surprising how we found his dead body, because from that police officer who was on duty that time, he told confirmed us that there were so many dead bodies, and all of those were taken in a dustbin car or dustbin truck, and they were maybe to Matwail or somewhere place for dumping the dead bodies. So we faced some problems, like my family didn't wanted to do the postmortem, because if a person becomes martyr as per Islamic concern, it's prohibited. So but the police and the authority didn't let us. They did the postmortem, but we don't have any report because they took the report and they never cleared it. And then they didn't even want to hand over the dead body, and we had to give them assurance that we would never do any cases against it. And till 2024 July, we kept that, because we were always under that TGFI eye, or army eyes, or what can I say, we were always under monitoring, so we couldn't do it. But I remember my dad's last days were full of this sort, that he couldn't do it. He couldn't do anything for his lovely son, for his loving son. And yeah, my dad had that type of grief. And yeah, may Allah accept his martyrdom anyway. It was much better than the way we thinking that it was his final chance of success. But I feel like a brilliant mathematician died on that day. And and a brilliant person, a patriotic person died on that day, and Bangladesh lost a Jane. And the consequences of losing Rehan was far from bitter. It was so hard that I can never imagine that I would ever face this type of thing. Yeah, that's about it.
Um, can't say anything, but although it would be an insult in every way to even say to feel sorry about it, as I can never actually, I had never have, and no one would actually want to feel and go through such an experience.
And
And
I want to add with this that the death of Bhaiya was not only a close family loss, but also a loss for the nation. And they tried to create a culture of fear and pressure that we as Bangladeshi men knew all too well from the times of Awami, who won the election. And we have seen that in 2009's BDR massacre also. That was also a genocide. And the authorities encouraged to give him a rapid burial. You know about one thing that I always mention in the press, that the authorities like warned us that please do the burial process, please quick the burial process. So I remember the last time I saw my brother was like he was smiling. And my father, after my brother's death, my father already lost his son, and he could not afford, and the grief was too much for him. And suddenly, within a year's time, he was expired. They say, and my mother, when I feel like my mother was left to bear these two unbearable pains of such a low time, such a small time, and we had to stay quiet for a long time, not daring to open our mouths. But silence cannot help to alleviate the suffering. That's why it's even more terrible to endure. I still can't forget the fact to seek justice for my brother. Me and my family faced numerous backlash from within and outside the walls of my sphere. And yeah, sometimes our extended family supported us, sometimes they didn't. So yeah, it was a whole lot of thing, and it was all about struggling this 11 years.
So I'm sorry, I have to be really professional about this, but with that saying, right now, following what happened, if I'm not wrong, you were offered, you and your family were offered a huge surplus of money from the BUET
From
administration.
BUET, I felt like my mom wanted to know about it. My mom wanted to inform me about it and wanted to know what should be decided. And the first thing came to in my mind that I can never trade my brother's corpse. So we denied that. And BUET has decided to open a scholarship on Rehan's name, and that's a great thing for us. That's totally a great thing for us. And
So,
with CSC 2009 batch, my brothers from another mothers, they actually helped a lot for the tribunal case, and without their support, it would be quite impossible for me to go to the tribunal and settle down everything. And this time, I'm very much sorry to share this information. Within these 11 years, there were a little portion of people I will specifically remember or mention the brothers like Mudashir Billah, Tishad Bhaiya, Rana Hassan al Kobi, Rana Bhaiya. They are all from good C209 batch. Imroj Bhaiya, Navid Bhai, who were the school friends. My husband Durlov, and Nahin Bhaiya, and there were many other friends from my brother. And yeah, they actually supported us. They supported us. Uh, Rehan Bhaiya's best friend was Rana Bhaiya, and Rana Bhaiya always took care of my studies. And he always like he was. Uh, Sometimes it was I had some kind of financial issues or some kind of issues like I can understand the studies in North South University. So my Rana Bhaiya used to help me on that way. I know no one can ever replace my brother, but they tried to help me on that way. Yeah, the part of the person who helped us in this way, like they were some of them were very Islamic, some of them were very casual. Yeah, so both happened.
so with that saying, thanks for letting us know all the details, and a lot of them, a huge chunk and portion of it, were actually gruesome.
I can share a miracle moment of my life.
Of course.
When my dad died, my dad had an amount of 1 lakh BDT in his account. So we had to shift in Naga. So we had some kind of financial issues back to 2013, 2014, and my whole entire education expenses was uh, My uncle took the responsibility of my educational expenses. My uncle, I will specifically mention his name, Nur Kakku. So yeah, thank you so much for giving me a life. And yeah, my family was like they were very conscious about after my brother's death. They were very conscious. They didn't even allow me to study in public universities because they felt like I would eventually do something on revenge of that, or I will do join in a political party that would harm me as well. So yeah, I had that kind of restriction in the university life.
So, what do you want? Specifically, what do your family want right now? So, the BUET authority has offered you money. You didn't take that money. It was a huge amount of money. You donated that to the that of scholarship, and I'm seeing you are getting cyberbullied online by a portion of people, and you have already debunked it by your action. People who are claiming that you are doing this for money, but you have already rejected the offer from the BUET administration, and instead opted for it being a scholarship instead for the students, for Brother Rehan. So, so you don't want money, you don't want any other thing. So, what do you want exactly right now for Brother
Okay,
Rehan?
if you want to know what is on our mind, then you need to know about my family. My dad's father, who was a judge back to British period, he also served this country. My grandfather, who was a doctor, he was also affiliated with the 1971 war, and he helped many people, though he never took the opportunity of being called a liberation liberation war certificate. He didn't receive it, or he didn't take it. And then comes for my dad. My dad was a very patriotic person, and he did a lot of things, though the other person, they my dad couldn't exceed them. But it's I feel like it's in our gene that we will serve our country, and without corruption and without any other violence. And yeah, that's our gene. So my brother did that also, and maybe I'm also on that way. Maybe my younger sister will go for that way. So what we want a justice. This justice will My dad's last wish was to get justice. He always wanted to see Hasina to be hanged, though I feel like sometimes it's quite impossible for our country right now. But nothing is impossible. I know if the justice doesn't come right now, I know Allah will give us justice on the judgment day. But we can try. We just want justice. We want nothing else. We don't want any kind of cyberbullying. We don't want any kind of things. And the people who are um, spreading this type of propaganda, like that, I'm feeling very bad to say that I have a mentality, or I'm using my brother's name for my personal gain. Then where is my personal gain? And where is the fund I get from US or something, some other places? I had got a rejection in US visa last July. So yeah, I'm still working on my profile that can be better when I try for the next time. And I have a thing like I want to do a PhD. I always wanted to be a scientist, so that's all I want. I don't have any other personal agenda, or I don't have any other personal thing. I don't know what to say about it. Whatever you do, there will be criticized. But cyberbullying is a new type of criticism. They literally spoke about it because I posted something about Muntasir Bhaiya, and that was very positive. That was a very I wanted that Muntasir Bhaiya gets hidayat, and no one like from Islamic thinking. No people don't can harm him. I just don't want any other killings in my country. That's why I posted it. And Mutasir Bhai also from my brother's school friend. So yeah, I also don't want him death also. I don't want his death also. So I posted it, but that doesn't mean that I support LGBTQ, or I am speaking whatever he's doing. I'm speaking on favor of whatever he is doing. I don't support it, but that doesn't mean that they will cyberbully me. So it was hurt for me.
No, of course, and I personally have witnessed some of those, and it's really degrading and demoralizing. I believe in this age of huge information and bombardment of information, um, this kinds of
uh, I can say that they say I exploit my brother's martyrdom for personal gain. Then tell me, where is the money? Where is the fund? How much did I sell my own brother's corpse for? You know, I lost everything. Yet they fear my voice more than their own silence. My mother broke down in tears and said that I don't want justice anymore. I just can't take this humiliation any longer. So I feel like they just don't know how to talk with a murderer's family, how to talk with a murderer's mother, and they just don't know. They don't have that manners to talk. But I feel like I will carry this fight for my mother, my dad, for Bhaiya, and for my younger sister, and ultimately for truth. And my brother's name will not be erased from my side, and justice will come one day, no matter how long it takes.
with that saying regarding the issue of justice, and I've recently seen that Brother Abrar Fahad, who was literally tortured to death, another student of BUET, by the student wing of the Awami League and the Hasina regime, who was killed, who got the recognition of from Bangladesh government. And I personally, that this is my totally personal take after hearing a lot of the stories and knowing about Brother Rehan, his meritocracy, his skills. He had a lot to contribute uh, to our country and to the world as a whole. I believe that. I personally feel like that way. Someone else might have a different point of view. That's up to them, but that's my take on it. So with that saying, regarding the issue of justice, what's your feeling right now after the after 5th August, after the fall of the Hasina regime? How do you feel about you getting justice? How much do you feel confident and positive about the case getting solved and its progress?
Okay, I always say one thing, that justice takes a lot of time in Bangladesh, literally. Though we have filed a case in International Crime Tribunal, so it's gonna take some time. The investigation is already going, and as far as I know from my advocate, that the Hefajat protests, the person who are in Hefajat, who are supporting Hefajat, they have also filed cases. Maybe that will count as 201 with our case, 201 cases against Sheikh Hasina and other 44 persons like Benzir, and there are other Polish persons. We have the investigation party already found hundreds of police and authorities inclined to this heinous act. They did a genocide on that day. You can, whether you support Islam or not, whether you support Hefajat or not, whether you do whatever you like, but this was a genocide, and they killed people brutally. You can never deny that, and Bangladeshi people will never deny that. And
No.
after 5th August, I feel like my little brothers and sisters who died in July and August protests, they gave me the strength, and that strength also came from my dad also. So yeah, that was the collective prayer that I tried harder. And I remember the last night of tribunal day. I mean, the day before the tribunal, many of my close ones to tried to do a lot of things so that I don't go for case. So, but they failed because I was like, I fixed my mind that I would do it whatever happens. So I did it. I did it, and my mother was the one who filed the case. And I feel like I'm the strength that is behind my mother. So I'm the backup for my mother. And my mother is a very strong person till now, and There will be a lot of things will happen. So yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm ready, sometimes I feel like I'm not ready. Yeah, I feel like this will take a lot of time as the investigation part is going on, and you know that the deep state and the Olive Garden has kind of influence on International Crime Tribunal investigation. So it will take some time, but I feel like justice will come one day, inshallah.
Of course, we always hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And I personally, and I feel like there's a lot of people supporting you, just like there are people who are bullying you and trying to demonize you as someone who's just trying to profit of one's brother's dead body. Uh, with that counterpart, I personally have seen a lot of supporters and a lot of people who are supporting you, who sends you.
Wait one thing. Uh, I have participated in, I have took part in many protests till now.
You
I
have.
can, yeah, I have those proofs also. The first protest I participated is like no VAT on students. Then 2015, 16, 17, then I remembered the protest in happened in North South University, the CGPA 1.81, because as per as North South policy, without having CGPA 2.0, no one can get ever the convocation, but 1.81 CGPA from EC department got got the convocation. So we protested about it. We also, I also protested in. You remember the incident, like one of our North South student got beaten by Bosundhara security guard. So I
Mhm.
had
I've heard
that
about
protest also. Yeah, yeah. I don't remember the person's name, but yeah, that protest also, and then no VAT on education. And the lastly 2018, that was the most depressing protest I ever had, was road safety protest. And we were in lead, but you know about how, I'm very much sorry to say this, how VP Noor subjected to the government, and that's how our protest ended in a very tragic way. And I still feel like the four women, the four female students who were abducted by Awami League, I just don't know where they are. Maybe they're dead, maybe they're, I don't know where they are. May Allah bless them. And if they're dead, then may Allah bless them Jannat. So yeah, many things happened in these 12 years. So every day make me this me. I feel like every day. Because when you go through a totally negative situation or totally not supportive surroundings, then you will have yourself only. You'll have to support yourself. You'll have to go forward. So that's what that actually inspired me to go forward. I know that I can never look back, and I can never get what I can never I can never go to the best days. I can never get my best days that I spent 12 years ago. So yeah, I have to live with the reality. Yeah. So if you think about the time, I'm just talking about my brother. No, I'm just not talking about my brother. Okay, let me clear about one thing. 2013's 5th May, we heard that the orphans from different madrasa or maktab, then they were invited in Hefajat protest of, and they were also killed, and their bodies were dumped in Matwell. Then why why anyone is not talking about them? What was their fault? They were under 16 also, but they were also killed. They were also martyred. So there was no one who talks about them. But I feel like I'm just not talking about my brother. I'm also talking about those little brothers also. May Allah bless them, Jannah. May Allah accept their martyrdom. So when you, I know you can have differences, you can have different aspects, whatever I think and whatever I talk, you can have oppositions also. But I feel like if you talk with me logically, and if you don't cyberbully me, so this will go long. This will go for a long debate. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much. You have actually, we are actually at the end of our session, and thank you so much for going into such gruesome details as someone who's already working with the platform as a founder, but yet sharing
I
such.
want to share little things about my school and college days if it isn't
Of
exceed your
course, of course,
schedule.
of course, of course.
Back in school day, I was in Holy Cross Girls High School. I had some injuries in my right hand, so it was quite impossible for me to get a chance in volleyball team. I was always a player, so yeah, that was my first major challenge getting into the volleyball team because it was very difficult for me because of the injury in my right hand. And but I didn't give up. I practiced day and night, and in the end, I made it to the main team. Not only that, I helped the team win. From 8 to 9th grade, I led the team for 3 years as a captain. My passion for academics was equally strong. Also, I was deeply involved in Olympiads, just like my brother. I always followed his footprints, and specifically in chemistry. I even made it to the national level of chemistry Olympiad despite facing setbacks. I never lost hope. And the turning point of 2013, if I say, a year that changed everything. Between 2012 and 2014, I started in Holy Cross College, but on May 5, 2013, the that incident changed my life forever. My brother was murdered, and my family and I were thrown into a storm of grief and despair. Just a year before, I mean, on May 11, 2012, I had a moment of pride. Like my first research paper was published, but due to our professor, Dr. Muhammad Jafar Iqbal, it was nothing more than a science fiction story. Yet I held on to my position. And then August 13, 2014, yeah, it was a great day. I got a GPA 5 from Holy Cross College. My dad, that was the best thing I could do for my dad. Yeah, my dad was so happy on that day. And yeah, I battled with failures. I tried to find my path a long time. And I was thrilled that when I ranked sixth in SAS merit list, but at la- but my family didn't allow me. They held me back, and I couldn't go for select. And 2015, I began my journey in CSE North South University. Yeah, I had kind of low CGPA, depression, self doubt, and my mother is the person who never let me give up. She was my rock. She encouraged me to take many things. She encouraged me to go forward. And in 2018, I returned as a researcher, and I have many publications in US also. My growth was like 2021. That was the main time that I actually got rid of those things, and I got affiliated with the academic things. And during pandemic, I founded the Free School in Bangladesh, also a free online education platform. And after the Corona things, I worked as a network engineer in Lanka Bangla Finance PLC for 1 year. And who am I? I don't know. I'm a just mixture of a good, bad thing. I also have anger issues. I also have stubbornness. I also have deep emotions, just like my brother. And if I had to sum up myself in one quote, that Rabindranath Tagore's words that describe me perfectly, like even if it ends, it will never truly feel like the end. That's all about me. And my mother is still fighting for us, and just keep her in your prayers, and so that she can also get justice. She also can get peace from the society things. Yeah.
Of course, that's what I, along with what I was saying was a lot of supporters I've seen. All we have been talking about are the negative counterparts, but also with the positive counterparts, and all of them, along with me, wants your brother to get the justice and recognition that he deserves, and mm, the assets along with that we lost on that fateful night, and also that
Yeah,
followed
I
through.
always want justice and recognition. Why won't Rehan get any recognition? Why? Rehan, I know Rehan is a little person from the entire global thing. I know he was just a person, but he was murdered brutally. So it's not for me, it's for him. He needs a recognition. I don't need a recognition. I'm not dead. I'm still alive in. So I'm still a live person. So I can make my recognition. But my brother can't make his recognition anymore. So he needs to be recognized in every aspect, in Muslim society, in non-Muslim society also.
Of course, as much as to say, there are a lot to talk about, and if we keep going at a pace, we never actually finish. But I actually wanted this keep at a short pace. We have Brother Redwan Mahbub, a great friend of mine and yours both, uh, uh, giving the hashtag on Justice for Rehan. And he has helped a lot in the July Revolution with his own
I
pages.
agree on that.
He's also joined us in one of our sessions too. Really great guy, and I hope and I would request him to, since he's seeing this, to use his social media counterparts to push for one of the things that you have probably put on change.org to create an impact and to submit the report. With that saying, I would say keep on fighting, and of course help in the cause for getting justice and recognition for Brother Rehan, a lost asset, a brother of not only of our guest here today, and but also for entire Bangladesh and humanity as a whole. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ivan, for this live session. Thank you so much, everyone, for seeing this.